What's going on, guys? We're back to another Deep Shot video today, and weekly power rankings. I wasn't able to make a video on NBA this week because I had stuff over the weekend. I'm a student, so I guess today I'm gonna be doing fantasy rankings for QB receivers, top tens. I'll go over like week 10 rankings, and I'll also go a little bit into rest of season rankings. But yeah, let's get right into it. So for my quarterbacks. My quarterback top 20 is just going to be simple, I think. If Jordan Love plays, which he's trending to play right now, I think he's trending to play. I think we got to play Jordan Love normally because I think he's definitely a top 10 quarterback when healthy. But this list is going to be off the fact that Jordan Love does not play. So, I mean, yeah, Jordan Love is like very limited in his snaps, and it's mostly Malik Willis playing. So, yeah. At 20, I have CJ Stroud. Jameis Winston is my 19. He's had an amazing game against the Ravens, beating the Ravens, which was hella surprising. I think Jameis Winston is actually I think he's a lot better than he once was, throwing as many touchdowns as picks. Aaron Rodgers is at 18. This offense is just in hell right now. They have all the weapons, they just can't do anything with it. I have Baker at 17. Sorry, Baker has really no one to throw it to with the Godwin and Evans injuries. He really has to rely on both Rashad White and Bucky Irving. At 16, I have Bo Nix. Bo Nix actually had a pretty good game against it's the Panthers, but he had a good game. At 15, I have Tua. Tua is back. Tyreek Hill people rejoice. Yeah, and a chain people. Tua, I have 15. He'll be good, I think. At 14, I have Geno. 13, I have Dak. I think Dak's actually gonna be good against Atlanta this week. At 12, I have Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams was in my top 10, but didn't have a great week. Let's see how they can bounce back. And 11, I have Jared Goff. Let's go to my top 10. So 10, I have Matthew Stafford. Stafford does have his two best weapons back in action with Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp. At 9, I have Patrick Mahomes. Mahomes does indeed have DeAndre Hopkins, even though he will most likely play a bit of limited snaps. At 8, I have Kyler Murray, who always has rushing upside. 7, Sam Darnold. Darnold has all the weapons. They're playing the Indianapolis team who just gets torched and just gets cooked, really. So I have Darnold. Kirk Cousins just yeets the ball. 5, Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow, again, T. Higgins I think will be back this week and he'll have a lot more weapons. 4, I have Jaden Daniels. The top 4 is the same. Jaden Daniels 4, Lamar at 3, Josh Allen 2, and Jalen Hurts coming off probably I think the best quarterback week of the season so far. Let's move on to running backs. So for running backs, I think I'm going to expand to top 30 and just list it down because top 30 is a bit of a stretch. Let's go top 40 actually. Top 40, I have. This is like from 40th. At 40th, I have Ray Davis. At 39th, is Justice Hill, who actually will be a good little backup to Derrick Henry. At 38, I have Charbonnet. At 37, I have Singletary. Tyrone Tracy does not have a concussion, so I believe he will play. At 36, I have Zach Moss, who is now the backup to Chase Brown. 35, I got Algier Bijan's backup. At 34, I have Rico Dowdle. Rico Dowdle is coming off an illness, and with the addition of Dalvin Cook, that backfield was just a mess. 33, I got Chubb. 32, I got Eckler. 31, I got Javonte Williams. Now let's go through the top 30. Raheem Mostert, he gets the goal line touches as opposed to a chain getting it literally everything else. 29, I got Madison. At 28, I got Tyrone Tracy. 27, Rashad White. 26, Bucky Irving. 25, Bigsby. 24, Ramondre Stevenson. 23, Dobbins. 22, Brown. 21, Hubbard. And 20, James Conner. Let's get right into this top 20. At 19, I have Brian Robinson Jr. Robinson Jr. is in a way, it really relies on a touchdown to have a good game. Remember that game where he had 13 points and 2 touchdowns? That's the type of game he needs to have every single week if he wants to keep up production. Every week that he doesn't get a touchdown, his production stoops significantly, and that's why I have him to slow. Even though they're playing a very susceptible Giants defense who just gave up 100 rushing yards to Najee Harris. Oh, by the way, this is PPR. At 18, I have Tony Pollard. Pollard is coming off of a bad week, but people underestimate Pollard. He has top 10 running back usage, although he does play on the Titans. At 17, I have David Montgomery. David Montgomery is, in a sense, the backup to Jahmyr Gibbs. Although Montgomery does get a bit of the power rushing, they're always gonna get like decent usage. And I think Montgomery, if you could buy him low right now. At 16, I have Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs is coming off a 25 point week, but he does play a Lions defense who has a pretty good run defense. I don't think Josh Jacobs is going to do great this week. At 15, I have Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt is the just full on number one back for this Kansas City team. However, Kareem Hunt's efficiency isn't great. It's not. He doesn't have the best efficiency at all. At 14, I have Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor is going to be one of those start and forget guys. He's playing Minnesota, who does have a good defense, although Kyron Williams did get 22.6 points against them last week. At 13, I have DeAndre Swift. DeAndre Swift is, again, another one of those guys where you might want to try to trade him up for someone like Chris Olave, but DeAndre Swift is really freaking good. As in the first half of the season, first month, everyone was like crapping on him, but now he's pretty good. So I think DeAndre Swift is top 13. At 12, I have Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones is playing Indianapolis, who don't have a good defense in general, and I think Aaron Jones is going to eat. At 11, I have Devon Achane. Achane is coming off a 25-point performance. The only thing that is kind of worrying is the fact that Raheem Mostert is taking up all that goal line usage, and Achane's getting all the passing and majority of the rushing attempts. It has Mostert's goal line usage is something to worry about. Let's get into our top 10. So at 10, I have James Cook. James Cook is coming off a great week, and he has a great matchup against Miami. James Cook is going to eat this week. At number 9, I have Breece Hall. Breece Hall is still always going to be a top 10 running back because he has amazing passing usage. It's just that this Jets offense is really in hell. And after firing Robert Saleh, I thought the Jets would actually try to do something, but they're not. And their game script just needs to be changed. At number 8, I have Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon is on a heater. He has 23. In his games, he has one game, which is the game he got injured, where he has less than 23 points, like 26, 26, 26, 23. It's absolutely absurd. They just feed Joe Mixon the ball, and I think they're going to keep this up. So I have Joe Mixon at 8. At number 7, I have Kenneth Walker. Kenneth Walker is coming off a decently bad game, although Kenneth Walker always is going to have that big play upside as well as the pass catching usage, I guess. The problem with the Seahawks offense is the instant they go down, they just throw their rushing attack out of the window, just go straight pass. And they're playing a Rams team who now has a revitalized offense. It's going to be really hard for Kenneth Walker if the Rams get a lead, for them to rush the ball with Kenneth Walker. At number 6, I have Alvin Kamara. Alvin Kamara will be playing the Panthers, who just have the worst run defense in the league. Kamara will have the advantage of having Derek Carr back, and I think he's going to get a ton of usage in the passing game as well as the rushing game, with Rashid Shaheed also and Bub Means being out. It's going to be mostly him and Olave, so I think they're going to get a lot of the usage. And number 5, sorry. At number 5, I have Jahmyr Gibbs. Jahmyr Gibbs is really on a tear right now. The only issue I would say is you really aren't getting that passing game usage as you are with Alvin Kamara. You expect Jahmyr Gibbs to kind of be the Alvin Kamara role, where you're getting like 7, 8 targets a game. It's just that the fact is that Jared Goff does not throw the ball that much. He doesn't really need to, because Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery just run up the stat sheet with rushing. Although, so the same goes for Lions wide receivers. They don't get much of it because his rushing attack is so good, and they probably have the best offense in the league, to be honest. At number 4, I have Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry is also another one of those guys, kind of relies on a touchdown, but has a lot of games with above 25 points. And Derrick Henry, I think, is also the RB1 with points per game in a PPR format this year. Although you do need to watch out for the fact that he has a bye. At number 3, I have Bijan Robinson. Bijan is playing Dallas, who don't have a great rush defense at all. I think Bijan's going to eat this week, especially with Kirk Cousins. Especially Dallas having a mediocre pass defense. I think they're going to rely on Bijan just to power run through. Number 2, I have Kyren Williams. Kyren Williams is one of the true backs who's going to get 20 to 30 touches per game around. He gets like the ultimate usage, basically. Into playing Seattle, who again doesn't have a great run blocking defense. I think Kyren Williams is going to eat. And then at 1, I have Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley's concern could be the fact that Jalen Hurts takes up a lot of this goal line and red zone touchdowns, but Saquon Barkley is used in every aspect of the Eagles game. They use him in the passing, they use him in the running. He's used in every single format. I think Saquon Barkley is still going to be the RB1 for this week. Let's go to wide receivers. So wide receivers top 40. I'm gonna speed run through this. T Higgins is my at 40 for me. I know it's like slightly low for Higgins. The reason is he was injured. He's questionable coming into this week. We don't know how that's gonna go. I think it's gonna be a safe spot to be this low. So T Higgins at 40. Keenan Allen is at 39. We don't know how good that Bears offense is gonna be, but if it does, DJ Moore is most likely gonna be that number one. At 37, at 38, I have Keon Coleman coming off 2 great weeks. At 37, I have Wan'Dale Robinson. At 36, I have Michael Pittman. 35, DeAndre Hopkins. 34, Calvin Ridley. 33, Jacoby Myers. 32, Romeo Doubs. 31, Cedric Tillman. 30, Xavier Worthy. 29, Darnell Mooney. 28, Courtland Sutton. 27, Ladd, who's coming off a great week. 26, Jalen Waddle. 25, Khalil Shakir. 24, Jackson Smith-Njigba. 23, Tank Dell. Actually, I think Tank Dell's a bit higher. Yeah. Actually, at 23, I'm going to put Chris Olave. Olave is, I think, going to have a great week this week. So I have Olave at 23. At 22, I'm going to put Josh Downs. And at 21, I'm going to put Brian Thomas Jr. We don't know if Brian Thomas Jr. is going to miss some games. So we're going to watch out for that. At 20, I have Tank Dell. At 19, Amari Cooper. 18, Marvin Harrison Jr. 17, DJ Moore. 16, Zay Flowers, who we don't know how he's going to be affected by the arrival of Deontay Johnson. It might be a bit high to put him here. 15, I have Devontae Adams. You know, I can really never put aside Adams and Rodgers. We don't know. And 14, I have Jaden Reed, who is a bust. I feel like a boom bust, has boom or bust potential. At 13, I have DeVonta Smith, who is coming off a good game with a 40 or 30 touchdown, I believe. 12, I have Garrett Wilson, who seems to be getting a bit more of the target share than Devontae Adams is. And then I have 11, I have Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp looks to be getting slightly less usage than Puka Nacua, who I will mention later. And they are playing Seattle, just also has an average pass defense. So at 10, I have Terry McLaurin. Terry McLaurin is the number 1 receiver for Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels is a very good quarterback, as we've seen with the Hail Mary and everything. By the way, that was insane. Terry McLaurin, playing the Giants this week. The Giants don't have a great defense. I have Terry McLaurin at 10. At 9, I have Puka Nacua. Puka is coming off injury, and you could see the game last Thursday, I believe. He had all the usage. He was using the running game, using the passing game, using in every form. He definitely looked to be Stafford's main target, even with Cooper Kupp playing. Although he played only like 50% of the snaps, I believe, he still had the most targets on the team, the most yards. Puka Nacua, I think, is now a top 10 receiver. At number 8, I have Drake London. Drake London is playing Dallas, even though he came off a down game where Mooney and Kyle Pitts outscored him. I think Drake London is still the clear-cut start and forget wide receiver 1. I think he's a low-end, maybe like a low-end wide receiver 1. I feel like he's still my top 10. Number 7, I have Malik Nabers. This might feel a bit low, and my reasoning for this is Malik Nabers is capped by the fact that he plays on the Giants offense, and he's only going to be as good as Daniel Jones is going to be as good, so he's really capped off like that. Malik Nabers gets a huge amount of the target share. I believe had 13 targets last game. And Malik Nabers, I think he's still obviously going to be top 10. It's just he's kind of dropping off a little bit. And if Malik Nabers, you could potentially buy him low right now. At number 6, I have Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill did have a slightly disappointing game last week, you could call it. But again, with Tua back, Tyreek Hill is immediately a wide receiver 1. I have Tyreek Hill at 6. At 5, I have A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown did have a bit of a drop-off game because of just the blowout and Jalen Hurts just taking everything himself. I believe A.J. Brown, though, is still a top 5 receiver in the league, so yeah. At number 4, I have Amon-Ra St. Brown. Amon-Ra St. Brown is another one of the receivers that he plays on the Lions, and the Lions have an amazing run offense. So the passing volume isn't really there sometimes. They do play Green Bay, who does allow a ton of rushing, I guess. And this is also projected to be one of the highest scoring games. I think Amon-Ra is still going to be a really good, an easy wide receiver one pick, for this week. It's just it might be slightly concerning to see the amount of the amount that Jared Goff doesn't have to throw. He barely threw the ball 11 times, I believe, last game. Nothing. At 3, Ja'Marr Chase. It's Ja'Marr Chase. We don't need to think about that. 2, I have Justin Jefferson. Again, these are just clear cut above the rest. And then at 1, CeeDee Lamb. He's coming off a near 40 point performance. I think CeeDee Lamb has now revitalized himself. CeeDee Lamb's my wide receiver 1. Tight ends. So tight ends is probably a very finicky position, I guess. So top 20 is just going to be Jadavion Sanders, who he played for the Saints, by the way, if you've never heard of him. I haven't either. I just heard of him today. We have Johnny Smith at 19, Noah Fant at 18, Dalton Schultz at 17, TJ Hawkinson at 16, Zach Ertz at 15, 14 Hunter Henry, 13 Cole Kmet, 12 Dalton Kincaid, 11 Mark Andrews, and 10 Tucker Kraft. 9 Sam Laporta. Laporta is going to be a lot better with the extra targets from Jameson Williams' absence. Laporta did have a pretty good game last week with 16 points, although a lot of tight ends actually did really good last week. At 8, I have Jake Ferguson. Ferguson is the number 2/3 for the Dallas Cowboys. He's pretty good. He's obviously going to be behind CeeDee, but Jake Ferguson is, I think, just a pretty consistent guy. At 7, I have I have Cade Otton. Cade Otton is coming off a huge 29 point performance. Cade Otton is now the clear-cut receiver, I guess, 1 for the Buccaneers without Evans and Godwin. I think he's going to be a really good start for the next couple of weeks, so I got Cade Otton at 7. At 6, I have Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts is also coming off of a huge 25 point performance. Kyle Pitts, I think, he's becoming one of those guys where you can just start and kind of forget about him. With averaging 16 points in the last 3 games, I think Kyle Pitts is a tight end 1. At 5, I have Evan Ingram. Evan Ingram, he got 14.3 points, I believe. He's always going to be good, I feel like. At 4, David Njoku, I think his usage has gone up so much with Amari Cooper being out and Jameis Winston being the new quarterback. At number 3, I have Trey McBride. Trey McBride's always going to get that huge volume with him and Marvin Harrison Jr. At 2, I got Brock Bowers. I think amazing rookie season. There might be a chance you could buy him low after a pretty bad game. And at 1, Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce is probably still the best tight end in the league, although maybe it might. We don't know how that's going to be affected by the arrival of DeAndre Hopkins. Now, so let's go for rest of season rankings for PPR rest of season rankings. Rest of season rankings are just I'm gonna speed through this. I think for running backs, I'm just gonna give you the top 10. My top 10 is just gonna be my Saquon Barkley's my 1, Kyren Williams 2, Derrick Henry 3, Alvin Kamara 4, Bijan Robinson 5, Breece Hall 6, Jahmyr Gibbs 7, Joe Mixon 8, Kenneth Walker 9, and Devon Achane 10. CMC is we just don't know when he's gonna come back. He looks like to be trending to come before week 10. Now come at week 10. If he does, that's gonna be huge for any owner who has him. For wide receivers, it's gonna be let's speed through the top 10 as well. At 1, we got CeeDee Lamb, 2, Justin Jefferson, 3, Ja'Marr Chase, 4, Amon-Ra St. Brown, 5, Tyreek Hill, 6, AJ Brown, 7, Drake London, 8, Malik Neighbors, 9, Puka Nacua, and 10, I'm gonna go Nico Collins, also saying that he comes back week 10. Quarterbacks, I have Lamar at 1, Jalen Hurts at 2, Josh Allen 3, Jaden Daniels 4, Joe Burrow 5, Jordan Love 6, Kyler Murray 7, CJ Stroud 8, saying that Nico Collins comes back, Brock Purdy 9, and Jared Goff 10. Even let's say he gets an amazing passing utility usage. Kickers, I don't think I really went over kickers for weekly, but again, kickers you can just start and forget, really. We have Brandon Aubrey at 1, Younghoe Koo at 2, Justin Tucker at 3, Austin Seibert at 4, Will Richard at 5, Harrison Butker at 6, Kyrie Fairbairn at 7, Cameron Dicker at 8, Evan McPherson at 9, and Brendan McManus at 10. Defenses for this league, we're going to go down from top to bottom. We got Vikings, Chiefs, Saints, Ravens, Chargers, Eagles, Jets, Bills, Commanders, and the Bengals. Those are going to be your top defenses for this week. That's, for the most part, that's every position. I mean, that's every offensive position. I wonder, do fantasy? Is there fantasy for like defensive positions? If you guys like ever played that, please let me know. I actually want to know that. I want to know if that's a thing. Um, that's gonna be all for now. That is gonna be all for now. I believe that is everything for this week. That's my fantasy advice. If you like have any like trades you want to like ask me about, I can probably give you a decent answer on them. But if that's all you got, that's all I'm gonna be giving you guys today. If you have any questions, tell me below. Goodbye.